I love today's topic, and it's something I use all the time in my day job. We're going to see a super useful technique that lets you combine multiple character strings into a single cell. For example, maybe you want to build the email addresses of a whole bunch of people where you take the first name, add a period, and then add the last name and then tack on an @companyname.com. Or maybe you're trying to display information with a little bit more context. Like instead of just a calculation that gives you a number, you want to add a label to that number. Like say adding the word owed to a formula that calculates the total bill minus the total paid. So it says blank owed. This action is called concatenate, which Webster's defines as to link things together in a chain or series. Now, there is a concatenate function in Excel that will do this, but we're not going to use it because A, concatenate is the longest function name ever to have to type out, and B, there's a way easier shortcut. Simply using the ampersand or the and symbol above the number 7 on your keyboard instead. So let's take a look at how this works. We'll start here with a simple example. Here we have a first name and a last name column, and I want to make a full name column that puts these two cells together. It's as easy as in my full name column typing equals A2 for the first name, the and or ampersand symbol above the number 7 on your keyboard, and then B2 for the last name. When you hit enter, there you go. First name and last name together. Of course, we didn't exactly tell Excel what we wanted because it didn't intuit that we wanted a space between those two words. So let's delete that and try again. We'll again put an equal sign and then reference cell A2, then that ampersand or and symbol, and we want a space now between first and last name. So for any text in a formula, you want to represent that text inside of quotes. So we can do this by putting quote space quote. Now I'm going to do another ampersand symbol and then put in B2. So now if you read this as a sentence, you're simply saying this cell should equal whatever is in A2 and a space and whatever is in B2. Hit enter, copy it down, and you've made a full name column. You can make this string as complex as you like. For example, making an email address. In fact, let's use a concept you can find out more about in the text function lecture. Now, let's assume that the format of your emails at our company are the first letter of the first name and then the last name @acme.com. To get that first letter, we'll use the left function. So in this next cell, we'll say equals, left, open parentheses, then the location of our text, which is A2, and the number of characters we want, in this case 1. So left, A2, comma 1, and close those parentheses. But before I hit enter, let's add the last name by simply keeping this formula going. We'll put in the and or ampersand symbol again, and then B2. Next, we want to add the domain, so another and symbol, and then quote @acme.com, close quote. Read it like a sentence, and what you see you're asking for is one character from the left of the first cell, and whatever is in the second cell, and the text @acme.com. Hit enter, and you've built yourself an email address. Last example, just to show you how this can work with augmenting calculations. Say that I want a cell that says something like X dollars is Y days overdue. Like for this first example, the result should say $300 is 30 days overdue. So I want the amount due with a dollar symbol, and then the word is with the space before and after, then the difference between today's date and the due date, and then finally the word overdue. Because this is going to be a cell with text in it, I can't actually format that number as currency. So I'm going to fake it by starting with the dollar sign in quotes. So equal sign, put the dollar sign in quotes, then an and symbol, and now we're going to reference E2, and another symbol with quote space is space close quote. Got to remember to put those spaces inside of the quotes. Now we're going to do my calculation, G2 minus F2. Then we're going to do another and symbol, and finally quote space overdue close quote. Hit enter, copy it down, and you've produced a dynamic phrase for each customer. Great for things like mail merges. Concatenate using the and symbol is a great little technique that I personally find uses for all the time, especially when I want the result of a calculation to come back with a bit more customization than just the value. Give it a try yourself and enjoy, and if any of your colleagues comment on it, tell them to watch this lecture.